All right, so we have, Tony and Trina, who are our base camp, and we got Chrissy and Angela, who's part of the support group waiting for us to return. Angela and Chrissy, what was your thoughts that were running through your head when the call for help came out?
Well, for me, my first thought was I did go right to judgment. I didn't think that, I couldn't understand why things were so wet and didn't have extra stuff in the bags. I knew it had been raining. I had reservations about you guys going as well because of all the rain that had happened, and I kept thinking it should have been canceled. But I knew my friend Gail was up there, and I knew I had to get up there to her. And I knew she had done it before, and I knew that she wouldn't be asking for help if it wasn't needed. And I just knew I had to get up there, and I didn't care. Actually, Angela and I were at a wedding that day. We were all the way in Girdwood. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we drove back real quick. I got home and I made a pot of coffee with a big thermos stuff. I grabbed hand warmers and feet warmers and emergency blankets. And I was like, I don't know where all the clothes and stuff yet. And just knew that I had to get up there as quickly as I could. And then, there was definitely that. I really hoped they were okay. And then I realized that the baby was with you guys, and then I got really angry, and I didn't think that was a good idea. It's a hard hike. I've done it before, but I also know that it was something that when I did it, I wanted to finish, and I didn't care. I didn't care about anything. I just needed to finish that hike. It's a beautiful hike, but I think I was more a little bit angry, and then I was very thankful when I saw everybody, when I finally started seeing people up there.
My initial reaction was very laid back. I didn't go immediately to, wow, they must be really in big trouble, because there was a delay in us getting it and knowing about it. So I was like, wow, there's a lot of response. They're probably doing really well. And I was like, okay. And then as I started to get more information, and Chris and I were able to talk about it, that Gail had asked for help, that really resonated, because I knew Gail was a seasoned hiker, and again, for her to ask for help, that she knew that she needed more help, probably for the less experienced hikers in the group. That when it's a group, you don't leave anyone behind, and you're only as strong as your weakest link, and so that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. Everyone has their strength, and to ask for help is the right thing to do. You shouldn't wait until you're in big trouble. You ask whenever you start to realize that there is something. And so we were getting back and trying to get there, and I kept going back and forth, because the next thing, when I heard that there was a baby on the trail, I didn't want to help. I'll just say I was livid. Knowing I've done Crow Pass, I am an avid outdoors person. I have taken my children all kinds of places and all kinds of things, but I've known my limitations, and I have gone with people that are much, much stronger, but I always knew that if I had to do it by myself, I could do it by myself with my children, that I wouldn't have to depend on anyone else. And it was judgmental, and I was very angry, and that's why I didn't want to help, is because I did not like where I was. I was furious. And I was like, how can I be of help going to be support when really and truly I didn't want to help, because I was so angry. And what one of the other ladies shared, it really was fear. It was fear of this poor little person. And I'm a pediatric nurse by trade, so I have a really strong advocacy, mother bear instinct. I just kept thinking, that poor baby. And then when I heard that maybe someone else, I can't remember, there was an adult that wasn't doing well, I can't remember, then I was like, wow, that's really scary, because now you're having to decide, and it's probably the stress of trying to take care of everyone, and the weather was just horrendous. It was Alaska to the nth degree. So the gamut of emotions, I finally worked through it, and I said, this isn't about you, Angela. It's really about these people, and they ask for help. What would I do if I were in this situation? Would I want someone to chastise me, or I want someone to come and help me? What can I do? I can be there, if for nothing else, than to just take the pack off their back, rub a foot, take trash, there's something I can do, and I can keep my mouth shut the entire time. I don't have to talk, and I can still be there. And my friend Chrissy was very encouraging about, no, we're going. And then I kept thinking about Todd and Zena. And I was like, wait a minute, Todd and Zena are on the trail. No, we're going. We're going, and we're going to make sure, because I know exactly what Todd and Zena and Gail, they're out there, they're corralling people, and Serena, I didn't know you, but I was like, Serena's out there. I was like, hell yeah, we're freaking going out there because we are the Alaska Hiking Tribe. We're the tribe.
That's right.
We're going to rally around, and we learn from every experience we have, and I'm learning that I am a judgmental bitch
I'm right there with you, sister.
when it comes to little people, and that is a strength and a blessing, and it just needs to be balanced with grace. I love the word that we shared, grace and compassion.
I love that as well.
So yeah, we got there, and then it was really very easy for me to flip into, I think, you know, being a nurse, you triage, you do what you can, you focus on what's needed at the moment, and it was such a beautiful experience to see everyone pull together. And I was glad that I was able to overcome that judgment and that anger and the fear, and everyone coming up and hearing the ATVs.
Oh yeah, that was an amazing
It was
sound.
so awesome.
That was an amazing sound.
It was extremely emotional. It's still emotional because it's embarrassing. You know, there's some shame and some stuffing down of pride about where I went that day and how angry and frustrated I was. But to look on their faces, knowing, I mean, Miss Lacey and Miss Amy over there, they were rock stars. They were like, "No, we're fine.
Like,
no, take your clothes off.
Shoes off, take this off. Here's the foot
We're
warmer.
putting. You need warm clothes.
Sticking
No,
foot
we're
warmers
okay.
on their
No, you're
feet.
not. You're putting this on now."
Just do what you're told.
That's right, just do it.
Even then, they were just graciously
Yes.
humbled. You know, Ileana, I mean, everyone. It was just a beautiful experience. I even turned my back so Todd could get naked and put on dry clothes. I mean, it was a beautiful thing, and it was an ugly thing. It was really the gamut of seeing the best and the worst of not only myself, but the situations that people get into. And that's not judgment, that's just, wow, you never know what's going to happen.
No.
It could have been all of a super seasoned group, and one thing could have happened, and the whole seasoned group could have had a terrible thing. You never know what's going to happen. It's about what you do in the moment.
Tony and Trina, being that you guys were base camp, what were your experiences and thought, you know, during this time you guys were out there waiting to hear back from us?
I was a ball of emotions from the very beginning. Just from the moment I put that backpack on. You guys were all in my head constantly. I think when Matt and Tanya, we were in the tent trying to take a nap because it was raining and there's nothing else to do. So Matt and Tanya came up and they were like, "Trina, Anthony," and we just, I knew,
What the hell's going
yeah,
on here?
I knew right away something was wrong because it wasn't a voice that I recognized. So I just,
That was, 'cause we were out there since Friday evening, so we were out there for 2 nights before you guys came back home. And we just set up our base camp. We want to make sure we had everything for you guys when you guys come through, because we've been watching the weather and we knew how bad it was going to be before we went out there. And then of course, all the rain you guys got, we got at base camp too. So we knew how bad it was out there.
you guys were having
And when Matt and Tanya came by and they're like, "Hey, your guys are in trouble," we were like, "Oh, you have got to be kidding me, what's going on?" They're like, last we saw them, they were at the river, and then they started telling us stories like they should not cross that river. They cannot do it safely, especially with a baby. And that was one of their big things. And we talked to other hikers coming through, or they were coming back from Crow Pass before that, and we were like, "Yeah, how's it out there?" And they're like, "Oh my God, it's terrible." And we were like, "Oh, we got a group out there that's coming through right now, and you know they got a baby too and everything." Everybody we talked to was livid.
Yeah.
They were like, "Why the
Why is there a
hell
baby?"
is there a baby on Crow Pass?" And we were like,
I felt completely helpless when Matt and Tanya came to us. I didn't know what to do. There was nothing I could do. I just wanted to leave my stuff, hike out, try to get a hold of somebody because we weren't getting service on our phone at all. I wasn't getting anything from Gail anymore, and I didn't know what to do. And they made it very clear there's no way we were going to be able to make it.
No.
It to you guys. There was no way. Even if we had left everything there and just hiked in, there's no way we were going to be able to do it.
Yeah. Then we got done talking to them, and they were getting ready to leave, and we were sitting there talking to ourselves. We were like, what the hell are we going to do? Should we go back and try to get contact with people? Not knowing. We didn't know at this time that you guys had already sent out.
We were
an
discussing
SOS.
it. We were discussing that Matt and Tanya were just leaving. We got out of the tent, and then I heard another voice, and I looked over, and it was Clark. I was like, oh my God, and I didn't see Serena.
Yeah,
She was like in front of, and then I saw Serena, and then I'm gonna cry right now. It made me so emotional because I felt like something really bad was gonna happen.
And it was, before we even saw Clark and Serena, I just looked over and I could see Ruger, and I looked and I said, man, that's a big dog. And I looked again, I was like, is that
That's
Ruger?
Clark.
And then we got up and I saw Clark, I was like, that's Clark, there's Ruger.
So it was really exciting to see them come.
Yeah, so we talked to them, and then they talked, devised a plan.
Yeah.
Got orange clothes from you before you headed back in with Matthew and Tina, or Tanya.
Tanya.
And Serena and Clark went
Feel flushed.
forward. Serena and Clark said, okay, well, we're going to go out to them. When we bring them back in, make sure you guys got a fire, and blah, blah, blah. We're like, all right, cool, good deal. So they had left, and then,
You're gonna make me cry again. Stop it.
up to that point, we still didn't have any
You didn't know.
contact. And since Saturday, we had that walkie-talkie turned on. She's like, I'm like, well, they're probably not going to contact us till Sunday. She's like, you leave that walkie-talkie on. So I had it on all night, but
Yeah, because my son said that you said you weren't gonna turn the walkie-talkie on until Sunday.
Well,
And
until-
he was like, I don't wanna waste the battery. I said, no, it's staying on. It's not gonna waste the battery as long as we're not using it.
I said we were gonna turn it on until on Saturday afternoon.
Oh,
after
okay,
we
he
crossed
told
the
us
river.
Sunday.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then finally, when Serena and Clark was gone, they were heading towards them. I mean, Todd came over the radio and it was like a whole weight just came off. Just hearing his voice. So that
That was when you were really expressing your feelings about Brooklyn.
yes,
He couldn't get Brooklyn off his
I couldn't
mind.
get her off my mind. All I could think about was that little baby, and I was like, man, I know the adults out there, I know they could handle themselves if need be. That little baby couldn't do anything to defend herself. And Matt came and told us you guys were in trouble. Anger just filled me,
Yeah.
and then concern filled me. And those two combinations, they just combined, it's crazy. So, but I was like, they should have canceled this goddamn thing. They knew it was gonna rain. So, but when his voice came over that radio, it was like,
I started crying. I'm a
Those were-
crier, I'm sorry.
so then we waited for you guys to come in, and then Serena showed back up. And we're like, oh, they're here, and it was just Serena, and I was like, oh, okay, well, we're still waiting.
But we're so happy that Serena's
All
here.
right. And then they came over to the radio, and I was like, are you guys at Icicle Creek yet? And they're like, yeah. Well, Icicle Creek was only
A mile,
not even a mile
away
where we
from
were.
us.
So they're like, oh, great, cool. So I had all this dry wood, miraculously, and I'm throwing it on the fire and getting this blaze going and everything, and then come to find out they weren't even at Icicle Creek yet. So I was like,
They were
oh,
still like
well,
7 miles, or what, about
about
5 miles
five
away?
miles out still.
By the time
But,
Clark, right? By the time Clark got to you guys, you about a whole 5 miles still, I think.
But, you know, and then eventually they did make it to Icicle Creek, and then that's when Serena and Ruger went out to meet them and bring them into base camp, and all the emotions still came. And I remember everybody came in, you know, I had a video, everybody coming in, hugging them, and I saw Todd, and I come to call Todd, Master Tribesman Todd, in our tribe, and out of everybody, Todd, when he gave you that hug, he gave you a hug. It was crazy. I was just like, okay. But, then we
We all kicked
Had
into
the-
motion.
yeah, we had the
tried to
fire
get them as
going.
warm as we could and as
Get 'em
dry as we
food.
could, and food.
You know, and they got a
I
bandage
know a
up.
couple were
Amy got
asking for
bandaged
more
up.
food, and I felt really bad because I found a bunch of the fruit cups at the
cups.
bottom of my bag. There was like 6 of them in there. I was like, oh, and I told them we were out of food.
But I ate one today and they were really good. But yeah, and then Clark was on the game, Serena was on the game. Yeah, everybody was getting changed, getting fed, getting cold or warm drinks, and they put their stuff back on and off they went. And we were just like, well, we need that breakdown champ now too, because we got to get out of there. So
Yeah,
that's what we did.
yeah. Amy was getting her foot fixed.
You know, Amy was getting bandaged up by Dr. Clark.
I saw Warren's tushy. No warning. I think I was feeding Christina, and I turned around and oh, there was Warren.
So, but it was our camping trip alone out there, just ours. Why we went out there, it was terrible. Oh,
I had fun, but it was.
for those who
the
don't
winter
know,
was horrible.
we knew the way it was going to rain. So we were like, well, we better bring something for entertainment so when we get rained into the tent. So we did. So we have an iPad, and she
I
downloaded some movies.
just in case.
So we're out there in the middle of the woods at night, dark as hell, raining, and we watch a movie called Backcountry.
I let him pick the movie. I have 4 movies downloaded and a series called Ozark. I said, what do you want to watch? I lightly suggested a scary movie and then Backcountry, and he was like, well, let's watch Backcountry.
Yeah, it was all about the couple that went out into the woods to camp and get attacked by a bear. After that movie
It was
was
good
over,
though, right? I mean, I thought it was funny.
it was hilarious because after the movie was over, we're sitting in the tent, every little noise.
He was
That was it.
super paranoid. He slept really close to that gun that night. And then I found out your guys' story, which we'll talk about
Oh,
Let you
yeah.
guys talk
later.
about that
We'll let you guys
But,
talk about that one.
But then, once they all started heading in, we packed up camp really fast.
Oh my gosh.
And
I burnt a lot of things.
and then we burned a lot of things. We burned pants, we burned
Towels.
towels.
My shoes.
But then we started hiking back out, and I don't know what happened with me, but
I think it was the stress.
it was probably the stress of them not or being in trouble and then finally showing up.
And he took my weight. He took.
That pack probably had to
I'm
wait.
fine though, but I literally stopped. I was like, I want a divorce.
Yeah.
I said, if you keep, I'm done. If you don't stop right now, because Todd and Clark were both like, you have to stop. And he wouldn't. And I just stopped and I just looked at him. I said, I'm done. I want a divorce then. I'm going to divorce you if you go one more step. Because he took my bag, he took my sleeping bag, he took, what else did you
I
take?
took both sleeping bags, I
Both
took the
sleep-
tent.
Well, that was technically 3 sleeping
3
bags.
sleeping
because
bags, yeah.
Gail had his
3
2.
sleeping bags, a tent, all the cooking
Yeah.
gear, all the food that we had left. Well, not the food, but the bags and stuff.
No, I had all the food. But yeah,
Yeah, well, anyways.
he overdid it.
My pack was probably 75 plus, easily. And I was hiking that back out, and I don't know what happened, but I just started getting dizzy, and she said my face was really pale, and I was sweating profusely. And I remember at a point she said that I looked like I started losing my balance, walking. And
That was when I called
that's when
Todd.
she called Todd.
I told him straight up.
She was like,
I'm telling
I'm telling
gonna get hold of
Todd.
Todd.
She's like, I'm telling Todd.
Well, he's acting like a child, so I treated him like a child. I said, I'm calling Todd then. And he's like, don't do that. And that was exactly what I did.
You know?
Yeah.
So then,
Don't tell Dad.
don't tell Todd. Please don't tell Todd. But anyways, but then that's when Todd got on the radio and he was trying to get me to stop, but I just wanted to make it back to Echo Bend.
And you wanted to at least make it
I
to
wanted to make it to Echo Bend. She was like, Todd said stop. And I was like, look, make it to Echo Bend. I'll do whatever the hell you want me to do. But they sent Clark back out with Ranger Sam, and they made it to me. And Clark came to me and he did a visual check, or
Yeah,
he was
he
checking
did.
making me watch my finger and everything. But then he got my, she was like, he won't listen to me, and he just walked right up to me, and was like, well, he's gonna listen to me, and just grabbed my butt, and fucking made my pack come
And
off
he
me.
felt he went down to the ground. He needed to compose himself.
Yeah. That was funny though, and then they told me to start walking, so I started walking, and she helped Clark get my pack on. Clark looked over at her and said, I can't believe he's trying to carry this out. And I started feeling better. They gave me a protein bar and everything, and then Ranger Sam showed up, and eventually Ranger Sam and Clark had to switch packs, so Ranger Sam took over on my pack.
Clark said, "Let him take it."
Yeah, and I started feeling better.
Because it was too heavy.
Yeah, I started feeling better, and I was like, I could probably take my ruck back. And Clark leaned over and said, he's really young, let him carry. So, and then we got to the four-wheelers, and we started heading back in, and that's when we came across Todd. And Gail was still on the trail waiting for me. But, so we were feeling good at that time. So we jumped off the four-wheelers, let them jump on. They're like, take them back. So they did, and we're walking back. We're walking back.
I was booking
and then
it so
at this time,
fast.
we're realizing, man,
It's dark out.
it's dark in here. So I got my 44 on my side still ready and everything, and we're walking. And we're just like, okay, we got about a mile and let's go. So she's picking up the pace, and I'm just like, okay, we're going. And then what surprised me though was that Clark,
They came back to
Ranger
get us.
Sam came back, and they picked us up and drove us back out. And then when we saw everybody at the parking lot, because I didn't know that yet. So I was
Yeah, I didn't
thinking,
know all you guys
I was
were-
just
the
thinking that,
support
okay,
groups over
well,
there.
we're gonna get back out, and the guys that hiked and everything are gonna probably, some are probably gonna be there, some probably won't be, but obviously we knew Todd and Gail was still there, so we were like, all right, we'll give each other hugs, good job, let them go home. And then we got up there, and oh my God!
Yeah.
I was
Charlie
like,
was the first one I saw, and then I saw you, and then I think it was Julie. I don't remember everybody that was there because I happened so fast.
But then at that moment, when we pulled up there and I saw everybody there, I knew we were a tribe.
Yeah. It was a great feeling knowing that everybody can come together
Yep.
for everybody.
I still think y'all should have canceled.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
No
But
babies on
she,
ProPass.
No.
no
I
babies on
agree. No more
ProPass.
babies. There should be a rule,
No
a
babies on
law or
ProPass.
something. No more babies on CroPass. Because that I just was so nerve wracking.
Yeah.
You know, we have a combined of 9 children. You know, it just to think of one of your kids.
Well, that was the first thing I said when I got
Yeah.
up there, and I looked at her and I'm like, you brought the baby anyways. And I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't even think before it just came out of my mouth, and then I was like, okay, they don't need that. They need you there to
Is
just
this for our?
help.
Is this for
That's
our?
for your
our
tears.
is that?
But,
Yes.
The nurse and he came out.
I didn't even notice.
but when your voice did come over that walkie, you know, I was like, oh my God, thank God. She immediately
I was a
broke
mess.
down. She immediately
I was
broke
a
down.
mess.
Tears just started flowing. At least I held in the tears at that time. But she was very ready, and her motherly instincts just kicked in. When you guys showed up, it was all over. She was running the show. Serena was getting all the food, or what was that? That was some good tea.
I don't know, the tea
Coffee.
was
What
pretty
was that
good.
tea?
Orange tea.
Orange tea, that was good.
You see, you think you were making the fire, but you weren't. It was really Serena
I
because
know.
you stopped and she was like, no.
Yeah,
she's
she was
picking
like-
up logs and she's just throwing them
She's
in
like,
there.
just throw that big log on there.
He's
I was
like, no,
"Let me
two's
split
enough.
it."
She goes, no. She grabs the big one and she's like, there, now it's enough.
That was an experience.
It was.
But we would definitely, being
I would
the
do
way
it
we
again.
talk, we would definitely be the tribe's base camp anytime. No problem. But I'm not doing ProPass.
ProPass is fantastic. I think everyone should do it.
I would love to
Yeah.
one day when I'm physically ready.
And I think that's the key.
I'm
I'll
slowly
take
getting there.
Yeah, I'll do it
Maybe
when
in
they
another
pave
year or
it.
two. When they pave it.
Yeah, when they pave the trail, I'm gonna do it.
Just some lifts for the beginning. I'll take a ride.
But that's all I got.
Anything else you guys want to add?
I love you guys and I'm proud of you.
I'm glad you
I'm
guys
so
all
proud
did
of
it.
you.
I'm glad you guys are safe, and
Is that even
Didn't
still
lose too
recording?
many toes.
Yeah,
Super proud of you that,
for some reason, it's
Lacey,
not
I mean, you were.
Lacey, yeah, she.
Lacey, you were just a,
No, I'm
even
fine.
though you were miserable, you stuck out in my mind because you just,
Oh,
sunshine.
you were just, you were still just smiling, even though you were.
Yeah.
I know.
We had an awesome picture of Amy when she came in. You could just see it in the picture on her face. She was just like,
Oh, yeah.
They're still on my camera, actually.
I saw those.
Yeah.
Yes.
But she still tried to, with as much pain.
Yeah.
Did you guys do okay? Are you guys okay? You're asking us if we're okay, girl. You just walked 30 miles.
any more questions?
No, you answered them.
All right.
Okay,